a current 10th grader at Milpitas High School in the Bay Area, California. It is my pleasure today to recognize Dr. Aparna Hegde as a trailblazing Havika woman.
Hi Nidhi, thank you for having me here. It's lovely to speak to a young Havika girl and somebody who I've been talking to last 1 month and I'm realizing how enterprising you are in your own work. So I look forward to your. I grew up in Mumbai, and I grew up in socialist India. And those times were not affluent. The surroundings I lived in were not affluent. You could call it lower middle class. And I saw very closely, if you just open your eyes in India, you see very closely how, just the fact that I was born into a Havika family, right? The place I was born determined where I would be in life, right? My parents were completely focused on education. And so, I could go to a great school. I obviously did academically very well, and my path was laid out, right? Listen, I suddenly realized that, look, the place where I can really make the most impact is my own field, right? And that's where, the journey to my, to ARMMMAN, right? As a kid growing up. And we also want to measure empowerment. See how much, you give them information, you train, is that leading to empowerment? Is that leading to them actually exercising those solutions on the ground, right? So we actually, the way we're going to measure ourselves also is going to change to have a 4E framework.
Yeah, it really shows the evidence-based framework that you mentioned earlier. Wonderful. So lastly, I just want to ask, so you are established, you have, so much life experience. So for young people like me who also want to make an impact on the world, what is your biggest piece of advice?
The biggest piece of advice, I'm no one to give you advice. I think each one, but if I were to draw from my own life story of where I am, one biggest piece of advice is this: persevere, really. And another thing I want to say is this: always keep your eye on the larger picture. Don't get lost in the day-to-day travails, because day-to-day is so tough, no matter where you are, right? I know how the system is so difficult in the US, right? It's so hard, right? And you're a part of the Havika community where everybody seems to be accomplished, right? And don't compare. Have a vision for yourself, and that vision, maybe you're in a time and place where you can do so much more than what we could do earlier, right? In our times, you could only be a doctor or engineer, literally, right? That's why most Havikas are engineers and doctors, literally, right? Look at the community out there. But now you can dream. You're talking to me on political science, right? So really, you can dream big, right? You can dream a policy. There's so many ways you can exercise your best self, right? So know what is your best self for yourself. Know what is it that and that doesn't have to be like your cousins or your peers or somebody who's in Harvard. It can mean anything, right? You may want to join the Peace Corps, right? Whatever. Know what is your, what do you want to do? What do you want to make of yourself? And always keep your eye on that, right? And if you've not figured it out, it's okay. And everybody's journey is equally important. Everybody's journey is equally important. It doesn't matter what the journey is, right? If you do it to the best of your ability, that's all. You should be able to tell yourself that I tried my best. That's it, right? And the path will open up, honestly.
Thank you.